Let's go check out the rest of what needs to be drawn for this riser number 1 over in the riser diagram. So as you can see here, it goes down one more level, and eventually it connects to riser number 4. So for that, I'm going to go over here into this section, and then I'm going to stretch it from the bottom down to one more level, and then I'm going to drag this pipe down to below the ceiling of the second floor. Now I'm going to open the second floor plan, and here we are. So as you can see from this point, our below ceiling pipe goes all the way over to connect to riser number 4. So I'm going to draw that. First, we're going to be needing a vertical section over here to draw the pipe in it. Now I'm going to make the section tighter, and also to avoid having this column blocking our view, I'm just going to bring the section border to next to it so we could only see the pipe. Now right click and go to view. And right here I'm going to right click on this pipe, then select draw pipe, then draw down at a 45-degree angle, slope down, and then I'm going to draw a little bit more to the left. Also, I'm going to move this elbow to bring it closer to the other one. Alright, so we are in the second floor plan. As we can also see that here it says the second floor. But why can't we see the pipe? That's because of the view range. We drew the pipe lower than the view depth, so I'll select these and bring them higher. Now as for the rest of this pipe, we're going to need to check and make sure it doesn't interfere with any beams. But first, let's go check in the floor plan to make sure it's going in the right direction. And I'm going to continue drawing the rest of it. Right click, draw pipe, and also make sure that it's sloped down. And now we're going to draw up to this riser. And it seems like it's going to go further down at a 45-degree angle and then reach it. But we might not be able to have these connections and fittings. So first I'm just going to check the direction in which this pipe is going in section and check to see if it is interfering with any beams along the way. So around here we don't have any beams, which means that we could draw our pipe even higher. That is, if there aren't any branches to be connected to it. But you can see that there's a branch here. So if I follow this branch and see where it goes, then I can see that it's going to be covering the sanitary pipes of this area, as well as the sanitary pipes of this restroom area. So the elevation of this riser pipe we're drawing, in fact, depends on the elevation of this other pipe. So let's just draw part of this branch and see where we can have our pipe's elevation. I'll get the pipe command using the shortcut PI, then enable inherit elevation, and slope up. Then I'm going to click in the middle of this pipe, then draw a pipe at a 45-degree angle. Now let's draw the rest of it. We're going to click here, then go up at a 45-degree angle, click again, and we're going to go all the way up to around here. Let's double check the diameter, and I'm just going to stop at here. So basically we're moving past this beam, so we could readjust our elevation based on that. Now as for the branch on this side, I could just select this elbow, then click on the plus sign to convert it to a T-fitting, and then I'm going to select the T itself, and then I'm going to right click on this clip, then select draw pipe. Make sure slope is up again, and then I'm going to draw up to here. We're just going to stop at an approximate location. If we were required to draw the rest of the pipes and finish them all in the other levels, we're just going to come back here and fix it. Now also here I'm going to select this elbow, click on the plus sign to convert it to a T to make way for the cleanout. So the elevation needs to be checked from this point where we have our first beam. Then the second beam is over here, and then here is where we have the third beam. So now I'm going to grab this section and move it around, and I'm going to also expand it so that it covers this whole area. Then right click on it and go to view. So as you can see, our pipe is coming in this way and it interferes with the beam. So we're just going to have to lower the whole elevation. Let's expand the section further. And now I'm going to select these, hold the control key to select the whole pipe. And then I'm going to use the arrow keys in the keyboard to move them all lower. So we've got it past the first beam. Now let's head back to the plan. And we've fixed the interference for the beam that's placed here. And also because we've changed the elevation of this pipe to something lower than the view depth, it's no longer visible. So let's hit VR, Then change the depth offset to negative 1500. So that'll cover about 1.5 meters lower than the FFL. And now we can see the pipe again. Let's go check it out in section, right click and go to view. And we're going to want to check the second floor. And now we're going to expand the section further from the bottom. And here we are. So consequently, our pipe is going past this beam as well. And then it continues along its way. Let's go back to the second floor. And now check this area. So we're going to go into the section. And this is how the pipes turned out. Then it continues to reach the riser. I could also bring these elbows closer together, like so. So far we have drawn the riser number 4 and that branch that was connecting to it. Now another thing that we needed to check was how this pipe was going to be connected to this riser. So you see, at this point where the direction changes, there is not enough space for an elbow to be placed, and then another 90-degree one, then another T-fitting. So we might need to reconsider the change in directions. First, this pipe is going to need to stay here, because then it will go inside the column if we try to move it to the right. But still, we might be able to move it at a 45-degree angle and have it go down. Or we could even make that change in directions happen a little before this connection. So I'll draw it backwards, right-click and draw pipe, then make sure slope is down, then draw at a 45-degree angle, and then go straight down. So as you can see, we could place the double elbows a little before this connection, and after this, once again, we would be needing another elbow to lead it down. Now let's go check this out in section. I'm just going to grab this one, then move it down here and also expand it. Now right click and go to view. So the part we are drawing is right here, and I'm going to have to draw it straight down. So right here I'm going to right click and draw pipe, then draw at a 45-degree angle, and then I'm going to go all the way down. So right now this is connecting to riser number 4, and also if we double check in the riser diagram, we can see that we've drawn it correctly. Now if we go look for the rest of riser number 4, we can see that it is still in this level, and as you can see, riser number 1 is connected to it, and it also has some branches in the level. We have drawn all of these. For example, we drew this towards the restrooms. Both of those branches are coming together, and then they will go down by 2 levels, and then the direction changes. Above that, we've also got some branches leading to the upper levels, but for now we're just going to continue drawing downwards, and we're going to also draw part of the higher part. So let's go back here, and we said that this one is going to have to lead upwards, so I'll just convert the elbow to a T, right click and draw pipe, and then I'm going to draw part of it leading upwards. Then I'm going to drag over these fittings and select them, then go back to the plan, and you see I've selected all of those fittings together because I'm going to have to move them higher. So I'll just use the arrow keys in the keyboard to move them up. And this is how this pipe is going to be correctly connected to the riser. Alright, so let's go down. Currently we are in the second floor and we've drawn riser number 4. First I'm going to close the extra views by clicking on Close Inactive Views up here. Now let's go to the first mid-floor, right here. Now the width of this column is probably wider, which is why it is now interfering with this pipe. So we're just going to have to take a closer look at them in section. But before we do that, we can see that the pipe is coming down this way. We've got a change in pipe's direction. So then it goes all the way down to this riser. So this riser number 4 is going to be having a change in direction in this floor. If we also check that out in the riser diagram, we can see that the riser number 4 over in the first mid-floor, and it has a change in direction and leads another way. Okay, so if I check around here in the first mid-floor, I can see that it's interfering a little bit with the column. So I'm just going to select all these fittings together, then move them back a little bit to resolve that interference. If we also check in the second floor, we can see that it's still at a proper location for the riser. Now in the first mid-floor plan, we have a change in direction at a 45-degree angle, so I'm just going to create a 45-degree angle section along this path. I'm going to also make this section tighter. Then I'm going to right click on it and go to view. So let's draw the rest of this pipe. Right click on its end, select draw pipe, then draw with slope down at a 45-degree angle and draw this pipe. Then I'm going to go back to the plan to draw the rest of it. The pipe is invisible, so let's hit VR to change the view range. Now I'm going to change the depth offset to -1500, then click OK, and now we can see the pipe. Now I'm going to right click on it, select draw pipe, make sure slope is down, and I'm going to draw the rest of it. Click right here, and according to the plan we're going to go all the way down, and we're going to stop at this point so that it goes down from here. Now let's go find the first beam we have along this way. You see the first beam is going to be between these two columns, as in we're going to have to check that in the section. This pipe could go a little bit higher, up to here. So this was the first beam we had in the way, and if we made it go below that beam, then it's definitely going below this one and this one as well. But to double check and make sure the elevation of the beams aren't different, we could just take a closer look at the pipe in a section. So I'm just going to create one here, then I'm going to make the section tighter, then right click on it and go to view. So now let's go take a look at the pipe, and also I'm going to stretch the section from the top and a little from the bottom. And as you can see, the beams we have around here are actually even higher, therefore there aren't any interferences with the pipe. But let's also go check something. Let's just go back to the beginning of the pipe and double check the beams we had in there. So here we are in the mid first floor, where we can see that same beam, which is also the longest one in the way, and our pipe is going past it. Now as for the rest of the pipe, it's going to be going all the way down here and past the beams around this area, where the pipe is still at a proper elevation to avoid interfering with any of the beams. Now there's also another branch around here, which means that this riser number 9 is going to be connected to riser number 4. Let's also go double check that in the riser diagram. And as you can see in the mid first floor, we have riser number 2 connecting to this riser. So while we're at it, let's just draw that one as well. We're going to get the pipe command PI, enable inherit elevation, and slope up. Now click over here, then go up at a 45-degree angle, click at this point, and then we're going to have to go in section to lead this pipe upwards. Let's go also take a look at riser number 9 in the riser diagram. Here it is, riser number 9 connecting to riser number 4. This riser number 9 is located over here, and then it changes directions over in this level to connect to riser number 4, and after that it's going to go up where riser number 5 is connected to it, and after that it's going to continue going upwards even through the 4th floor. So let's just finish this riser first, as in while I am modeling the risers in the different levels, I might even have to finish some other risers with them. For example, as you can see here, we have finished drawing the riser number 1. As for riser number 2, we've drawn that one as well based on the riser diagram. And after that, we got to riser number 4. Riser number 4 is going to be continuing from this level. We're going to get to the top part of it later. But while we were working on riser number 4, we also got to riser number 9. So let's just also finish riser number 9 in this level while we're at it. And we're going to get to drawing the rest of riser number 4.